You're using your brain wrong. And unless you understand the concept I'm going to share with you in a moment, you're going to find that life is a dull experience. You'll never truly thrive. You'll never truly feel like you're living on a day-to-day basis. Now, this concept, before I share this with you, I want you to pay close attention because you got to understand, how did we get here? If you look at, for example, us many, many millions of years ago, the prehistoric ancestors, the programming that's still part of our brain called the primal brain, you'll notice how back then, they just had to focus on one thing. The one thing being survival. They just had to survive on a day-to-day basis. And this is why, if you've ever been into nature, and if you've ever wondered why you're so calm out in nature, if you've ever wondered why when you're in the shower, you tend to think of your best ideas, if you ever wondered why when you meditate, you feel great, it's because back in the prehistoric era, that's the way that we were meant to be living. Now, today we live in a world where digital age is here. Left, right, and center get notifications. It's so overwhelming. We're trying to remember everything. We're trying to cram everything in here, and we got to remember the shopping list. We got to remember the things you got to do for work. You got to remember, what your partner wants, and all of this you're trying to cram in here. I'm here to say, if you're trying to cram memory and remember stuff, you're using your brain wrong. I'm going to share with you what you got to do instead to be able to live life with a full experience and happiness. And it comes from understanding this concept I'm going to share with you right now. So pay close attention. So I want you to imagine that this is you. I'm just going to draw a little stick man figure. This is you. Most people on this planet, they're just having an okay experience. You ask any average Joe, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing all right. We're surrounded by, yeah, I'm all right. We're never really surrounded by, oh my God, I'm having the best time of my life. In fact, we call those people crazy because we're not used to that. We're not used to seeing people who are thriving and fully living. Think about that from a brainwashing perspective. We expect people to have problems nowadays. We expect people to be overwhelmed, and that's just normal office conversation. If you think about that, it's no wonder, because human brains, what studies have shown, every single day you're processing upwards of 50,000 thoughts. Most people in life, what I discovered, they're not really living. When you're with your partner, you're not really there, are you? When you're at work, you're not really there. You're just trapped in your model of the world of what's going on from all of the distractions we have in the wider world. You see, the way that we've evolved as human beings is slow compared to the way that the society has evolved through the digital era. In fact, it is predicted that by 2020, the entire world is due to be connected to the web. Right now, it's 3 billion people. That means we've literally got just under 2 years until 4 billion people will be connected to the web, joining us. Times are moving fast. We've never seen an era like this. And although that's great in regards to opportunity, what this has resulted in is people having a mediocre experience, stressed, overwhelmed, and never feel like they're truly living. And it's because of the fact that they've got multiple filters in which that they're processing their world. On the outer filter, you've got something that's called out of control. On a day-to-day basis, what you will find out of those 50,000 plus thoughts, you are thinking about things that's outside of your control, and you're trying to remember this. Even if you're not consciously aware of this, subconsciously, it's almost like you're cramming in all of these files into a memory stick that can only fit 6 gigabytes, but you've got about 32 or even 100 gigabytes of data you're trying to cram in. Guess what? It's not going in. And what does that cause? It causes overwhelm. It causes stress. It causes that sense that you're not present. That it causes sense of lacking that fulfillment out of life. So you got to think about right now, what are the things that you are processing, focusing on day-to-day basis, you're brainwashing yourself with every single day that is outside of your control? This is why I highly, highly suggest you do not watch the news. Because the more you begin to create all these open loops in your life that's outside of your control, you're going to feel more like a victim, and you're going to feel more overwhelmed, because this is back of your mind. Whatever you've told yourself is important, that's outside of your control, this is crammed into your little gigabyte stick that you've got called a brain. Your brain is not designed to remember things. The way it's designed is to be very efficient as a machine. It's an automation machine. But most human beings, they're trying to cram in all of this data, all of this, so much data that they're trying to cram in, it just simply does not fit. Back in the prehistoric era, it was very, very streamlined processes. Your brain knew exactly what to automate, habituate, and all of the things in between. We did not have so many things we're trying to cram in, and this is why most people feel overwhelmed nowadays. So you want to begin to write down everything that you're thinking about on a day-to-day basis. Do this. I highly suggest you take control right now. Don't let this be another video. Write down everything you think about on a day-to-day basis before you start the day, and begin to put a check mark next to everything that's outside of your control. And you'll notice, if you really spend time doing this, 20 minutes or whatever, you'll notice you've got a list of that big, if you're being honest with yourself, and you'll notice how most of that is outside of your control. Think about that. You're putting all of the energy outside. So no wonder when you're experiencing something in your world, no wonder you're not present. You're not living life. You're just simply surviving. You're just having an okay experience. You're never thriving. Get clear what's outside. Next thing you want to get clear in regards to what are the open loops. What are open loops? Open loops is whenever you're trying to remember something that's not completed. Something that lacks that completion. This, by the way, it requires high level emotional maturity, because the ones that tend to weigh us down the most is these open loops that you've been dreading closing for a long time. If you've ever been through arguments with your parents or loved ones, you know what I mean. It's an open loop. Maybe you've not said the final closing words. Maybe you've not said I love you, whatever it may be. You know you the best. But when I began to close these major open loops in my life, I felt immediately the weight is off my shoulders, because you've gotten rid of these open loop that's acting as a filter, so you can't truly live life. You're stuck by all this weight of the world on your freaking shoulders. Write a list of everything that's an open loop in your life, and you want to begin to put this onto your schedule. Begin to put it on your to-do list if there's something that you do want to complete. The last thing you want to do is trying to remember everything, all these open loops. And that's why I specifically tell my team to never tell me a story or never tell me an open loop unless it's going to be closed during that meeting. Otherwise, I'm going into that next meeting thinking about all these other things and I'm not present in that moment. Get into the habit of using your brain properly, and you get to fully experience life. Because when you begin to get rid of the things that's out of control, just consciously just let it go. Realize that you got to let it go. Otherwise, it will take a weight on your shoulders. And when you begin to get focused on the open loops and begin to close those open loops one by one, only then you begin to fully live life. Because now you are present. Now, whenever you're experiencing time with your loved one after work, now you're fully present, not thinking about work. Now you're there in that moment, fully living, thriving. And that's the secret that will allow you to move forwards today and experience every single day. Experience it. Not, for example, put the whatever feeling you think your goal is going to get, whatever happiness, whatever fulfillment, not putting that off till tomorrow or next week or next year when you achieve that goal. Trust me, that is a hole with no cheese. It's about realization that this journey is what gives us fulfillment. So get rid of all of this stuff out of your life. Be present today, Insider. Experience every single moment today, Insider. Whenever you're speaking to somebody today, be in that moment. Don't be caught up in your head in regards to the meeting that happened yesterday or a problem you've had several years ago. It's gone now. Now is the time. Experience it now. Do whatever it takes. I hope you found today's video helpful. If you have, be sure to share this video with a friend or loved one who needs to hear this message, because it's by you sharing and helping them, that's how we'll transform the world. The ripples will impact the world. Like this video if you like this video, and comment below, what is your biggest action step? What is the thing you're going to take action on? I'm after the action takers, not the talkers, okay? So be sure to let me know in the comments box below. And as always, Insider, follow your heart, my friend, and take action and go live the life you're truly born to live.